What's going on, people? Mad Mike here, video, and this is something that I haven't done in quite some time. Getting back to the roots, and I mean the roots of your boy Mad Mike. And one of those things that I used to do, and I'm going to do more of, is Falcons fans comments. All right, I'm gonna break down comments. I'm gonna give my take, my honest, unfiltered, unadulterated, unleashed opinions on Falcons fan comments. So you guys keep them coming. Ask questions and leave comments like this. All right, because I like to read them and I like to break them down. And like I said, it's all in the spirit of conversation. But before I do that, man, if you guys have not already, continuously and do me a favor. As a matter of fact, scratch all that. All right, do this, you guys, right now. This will be something that this is going to be premiered. So if you guys can do me one favor, just send a happy birthday to Miss Maggie. All right, June 4th. June 4th. Today is her day. One of the most important people, not only in my life, but you guys' life. Why? Because you're Atlanta Falcon Nation, Mad Mike Sports Unholy Alliance, the absolute crew, the conglomerate. She plays a vital part in, what you guys see, not only with me, but the crew and, the platform in its entirety. The Ladybirds of AFN, that was definitely something that she wanted to put in place for herself. So if you guys can not only send her some birthday love, but hey, if you got a couple bucks, man, 5, 10, 20, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, touchdown. Yeah. Send it to her at Atlanta Falcons Nation. Show her some birthday love. But let's get straight to it, man. This right here is one hell of an interesting comment. And like I said, I like to break down, and this is my honest opinion. So Kenneth and anybody, when you see this, it is what it is. All right. So let's get straight to it. Kenneth Kelleth, Michael Penix is going either trade or forced release due to tampering, which is interesting to me because from what I understand and what I know is that that's not how tampering works. That's not how tampering works. That's not how the rules work. And quite frankly, I think we have other players on this squad that if anything were forced to happen with the Atlanta Falcons via the tampering, it will be more so and has been in other situations. And, like the one you had, the Dolphins, I think is a prime example of and how the tampering situation goes. There was an ongoing situation with the Dolphins. I know a lot of people saying, well, the Falcons did, they was involved with tampering. Yes, the Falcons may have very well be involved in tampering. But the difference between the Atlanta Falcons, from what I understand to date, is that it was only a 1 year and an off-season issue. Now, if they're for any reason for the Atlanta Falcons, if we come out and we get the information that the Atlanta Falcons have been involved in bringing and trying to bring in Kirk Cousins for the last 2, maybe 3 seasons, and we probably have something to talk about. All right, that's something you can really kind of say to yourself, like, all right, the Falcons have been trying to get him over 3 years. All right, I could see how that tampering. But if it's just one off season, for the most part, unlike the the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins were involved in a 3-year issue when it concerns the tampering. They had been found guilty of trying to bring in guys like Sean Payton, Tom Brady for 3 years consecutively. So in this particular moment, in this particular instance, this is not the same as what we've seen with the Atlanta Falcons right now, as I know it. What we've seen as far as Adam Schefter is reporting, this is a 1-year, an off-season deal. So they got penalized a first-round pick and a fine because it was a ongoing situation. It was a 2 to 3 year process of them trying to bring in Sean Payton and bring in Tom Brady. So there's a completely different from what I understand and what the evidence holds right now and what the evidence states as of now. The Atlanta Falcons is only a 1-year deal when it comes down to Kirk Cousins. So for them, for you to say that the Falcons are going to be forced to get rid of Michael Penix because of this tampering is not necessarily true. So, Kenneth, I understand that you still at this point are not on board with Michael Penix, and quite frankly, I'm just going to be honest. I think you're just searching for a reason not to believe in the kid. I think you're upset with the Atlanta Falcons not bringing in maybe a guy from Alabama. Possibly trading up for a quarterback. Jaden Daniels, like maybe you wanted someone else, but when it comes down to it, it's like the Falcons, for the Falcons to draft Michael Penix, and then you say that they're going to be forced to trade him. I don't necessarily see how that would benefit the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what are we going to trade him for? He's yet to put on, one game for the Atlanta Falcons, the preseason. So to say they'll be forced to trade him, I don't think you draft a guy that high just to turn around and get rid of him in one offseason. So, like, not even an offseason, a couple of months. So that's right now, I think that's pure ignorance. Just to say that they are going to be forced to trade him or release him due to tampering. There's no evidence and there's nothing in the record book to say that the Falcons will be forced to get rid of a guy that they drafted. And this is an absolute awesome move by the NFL. Okay, again, Kenneth, I don't know what the hell your problem is, but to say this is an awesome move by the NFL, I mean, like, what are you insinuating? Are you an Atlanta Falcons fan? Like, what's the issue? Why are you happy to see the Atlanta Falcons under investigation? And not only the Atlanta Falcons, this is something that the Philadelphia Eagles are going through as well. So when it all comes down to it, I don't know what the hell's your problem, Kenneth, but to say that the Atlanta Falcons deserve this is just insinuating that the Atlanta Falcons deserve to be investigated for going out and trying to get Kirk Cousins. I don't know what the hell. Like I said, I don't know how to define that. Like what? Why do you need for the Atlanta Falcons to be under investigation? Like I don't get that. Also, he goes to say this will go a long way to unite the Atlanta Falcons fan base after a horrible mistake drafting Penix to begin with. And again, this just seems like a personal issue with you, Kenneth. For whatever reason, you just decided that this is not going to work with Michael Penix, and you want him gone at all costs. And like I said, you're more than welcome to have that damn opinion, but at the end of the day, how do we know that this is going to be a horrible? How do we know that this is a horrible mistake? How do we know that drafting Michael Penix is such a terrible decision when we've yet to see him on the field? I like to give guys the benefit of the doubt. I want to give them the opportunity to prove themselves. And you can't make a judgment. Let's just say that this guy sucks. So fucking what? Okay? Let's just say that he sucks. What you're going to get rid of him anyway if he sucks. Okay? What's the point? I would rather see that he sucks than to insinuate he sucks before he even has an opportunity to get on the damn field. He's yet to have an opportunity to get on the field to just see if he sucks. Let's just say he's injury prone and the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons have to make a decision to get rid of him. But I would much rather see it for myself than to prematurely get rid of a guy based on my own personal feelings or my own personal thoughts of said person. I would rather see it first. Because let's just say, again, we're going to say the worst case scenario. If he does sucks, if he is injury prone, I want to see it first. I would much rather see him crawling on his knees or laying on the ground. God forbid that happen. Than to let a guy go away based on my premature thoughts and my premature take on said person. So, in my opinion, man, I think this has more to do with your own personal feelings towards Michael Penix than it has to do with the truth. And that's the thing when it comes down to a lot of fans in its entirety. You go out of your way to just make the decision to hate someone. You made the decision to not give him an opportunity. This is the exact same model that a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans had post Matt Ryan, post Mike Vick era. Mike Vick was gone. Fans made a conscious decision to not give Matt Ryan an opportunity when he went out of his way to not only embrace the city, embrace the fans, when he could have easily said, fuck Atlanta, fuck the fans, I'm out of here. He didn't. You guys call him all types of names. Social media. You said some of the worst, most disgusting, most racist things ever. And this dude still stayed with this organization, still packed with them. And what happened? Y'all cried, bitch, and moan when he ended up leaving. Said, oh my God, I think we made a mistake. We should have appreciated Matt Ryan. So this is the exact same thing, if you ask me. You've made the decision to not give this kid a chance. Because again, even if he is injury prone, even if he does suck, I would much rather see it on the field than not give him an opportunity and have him end up turning to a guy like Brett Favre. We gave Brett Favre an opportunity and he stuck up the joint. So he needed better coaching, and he went to Green Bay Packers, and he had better coaching. But at the end of the day, we don't even know that Michael Penix is going to suck. We've made the conscious decision. You've made the conscious decision to not like Michael Penix. And I think that's unfair. I think it's rotten. And I think it's unbecoming of an Atlanta Falcons fan to say, one, the NFL should investigate the Atlanta Falcons for tampering just so they can turn around and get rid of Michael Penix. And if you can't see the error in that way, if you can't see the error in your ways when it comes down to this situation, it's sad. All right. So I don't know how the Atlanta Falcons trading Michael Penix away or being forced to release him is going to unite Atlanta Falcons. Please explain that shit to me. I have no idea how getting rid and trading a guy and releasing him is going to bring the fan base together. That right there is delusion at its fucking finest. All right. And he goes on to say, fans will wait patiently to receive the greatness that Penix is no longer a Falcon. Penix Jr., an overrated, overdrafted, overhyped, injury-prone, hypersensitive prospect that has brought nothing but feminine drama to the city and to the fan base, which is divided the moronic draft when there was zero need for an injury-prone prospect. And look, this is the NFL. And this is what we've said time and time again. It doesn't matter if you come into the NFL injury prone or not. Injury prone or healthy. Doesn't matter. Why? Because it's a physical game. You're always one hit, one wrong step away from injury. Just because you come into the league with certain injuries, because we've seen time and time again, Drew Brees, his shoulder had to be repaired long before he turned into the Drew Brees that we know. Tom Brady has had several knee injuries, even when we saw him winning championships. Steve Young, same thing, knee injuries. You see the shoulder pad. Like if you look at Dan Marino he was padded from head to toe. Why? Because of injuries. We've seen this time and time again. Matt Ryan is a guy that came into the league with a pre-existing knee injury. Julio Jones had a broken foot, a surgically repaired foot before he even came into the league, that he had to have screws put in before he played a game and during the plight of his career. Julio Jones already came into the league with injury issues. So to label Michael Penix an injury-prone quarterback and not give him an opportunity is really, it's disgusting, it's premature, and it's selfish, and it's just downright ignorant. Because again, had we not drafted Julio Jones because he had a screw in his foot, let's keep that real. We would have missed out on one of the greatest eras of Atlanta Falcon history if we would have just said, yeah, he's too injury prone. I don't know about drafting Julio. And totally disregard everything that he did at the University of Alabama. We're going to disregard players and what they put on the field. Totally disregard their skills. Totally disregard the numbers that they put up in college because he had an injury. Oh, his knee. He had a knee injury. Let's totally disregard him. And I think this is exactly what is happening with Michael Penix. Now, are these things something that we should take into account when drafting guys? Absolutely. This is a significant injury, and he's had 2 knee injuries. And it's something that should be taken seriously when you're talking about drafting a prospect. It's something new. But the Atlanta Falcons, in my opinion, and a lot of teams, they are willing to look past that with Michael Penix because there's more upside than downside. Now, my frustration with the Atlanta Falcons and drafting Michael Penix was more so about giving Kirk Cousins $90 million, $100 million when you could have just been patient and drafted Michael Penix. It had very little, if not nothing, to do with whether or not Michael Penix was a good prospect. Because if you look at him, he can sling that thing. Is he a flawed quarterback? At times, yeah, he doesn't run a lot. He has the ability, but with those knee injuries and whatnot, you can see why Washington only for the most part, wanted him to stay in the pocket and deliver the football. And one thing about Michael Penix, he has a lively arm. Now, he put a little bit too much air on the ball for me on his deep passes, but nevertheless, this dude has a lively arm. He has a zip on the pass. So he definitely has skills as a thrower. And that's what the Atlanta Falcons are doing when you have an offensive line, you have a quarterback coach, they feel like they can fix that and it won't be a issue in the future. So when it all comes down to it, the Atlanta Falcons, did they make the right decision in drafting Michael Penix? We don't know. All of that is going to be on the field. The same thing I said about Kyle Pitts. Is he a unicorn? Will he be able to live up to the hype? We'll see. But at the end of the day, we know that Kyle Pitts has the ability. We know Michael Penix has the ability. We know Michael Penix has knee injury issues. We know that Kyle Pitts had injury issues. But at the end of the day, does it mean that their career over because they had one injury? Because these guys have an injury, we're just going to disregard everything they're about. Disregard everything, all their skill set. Like I said, this is how you miss out on great players because you focus so much on his injuries, what he can't do, instead of focusing on the things that he can do. This is with the great quarterbacks, because this is exactly what happened with Patrick Mahomes. Why teams passed on him, because they were so focused on, he has bad mechanics. He can do this. They totally disregard the fact that, despite having, bad mechanics, this dude can make every single throw. And that's something that I saw coming out with Patrick Mahomes. This dude has the ability to make every throw and every throw lively. Zip on the pass. Like, he can do all of that. So if you get him with a guy like an Andy Reid who can work on his footwork and put him in positions to heighten his abilities, okay, his positives, because that's what coaches are supposed to do. They're supposed to figure out what you're good at, do more of that and less of the things that you can't do. So Michael Penix has knee injuries and he has injuries on his lower extremities. As a coach, you do not want your players to run a lot. You want to protect them. You want them to stay in the pocket. You want to build your offensive line. You want to get as many opportunities to those running backs with the Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Jace McKellen. Like, you want to give those guys the ball. So you won't have to rely on a Michael Penix to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. You want to continuously build up your offensive line. These are the things that you want to do. So we're so focused on his knee injuries and all these other types of stuff. But at the end of the day, what the Atlanta Falcons really need and continuously focus on is one thing. Watch it happen on the field. Stop insinuating. Stop saying what guys can't do. Because, again, if we would have focused on Julio Jones having a screw in his foot as a wide receiver, just saying that and thinking that, we would have missed out on one of the greatest and most talented wide receivers that has ever played the game. So with that being said, this is another episode of Unleashed. Atlanta Falcons fan comment. Thank you, Kenneth, for putting this. And like I said, give them an opportunity. Let it go. Let it go. Okay? It's done. We don't know what's going to happen with Penix. We don't even know if the other prospects, the 7 prospects before him, are going to turn out any good. This is why you play the game. You play to win the game. And this is what the Atlanta Falcons are doing. They made the decision, and now we have to wait the process. But as of right now, the Atlanta Falcons have Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Mooney. They have so many guys on the offensive side of the ball, including Kirk Cousins. So for the foreseeable future, the next year or two, the Falcons have Kirk Cousins. Let's ride this Kirk Cousins wave until it is Mike Penix's opportunity. So with that being said, y'all hit that subscribe button. Also, again, send some happy birthday shout out to Miss Maggie. If you guys want to donate to Miss Maggie, give her a birthday present, Cash App at Atlanta Falcons Nation. The link will be in the description at the end of this video. Pinned in the comments right now. This has been your boy, Mad Mike. Appreciate you, Kenneth, and everybody who continues to support. Leave your comments like this. Give me even more opportunity to expand on conversation. And that's all I got to say about that. This has been your boy, Mad Mike, man. Again, check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, at Mad Mike Sports, as well as Atlanta Falcons Nation. The Heavy Hitters is on Spotify. Continue to support us. And like I said before, find us at all of your podcasting platforms. This has been your boy, Mad Mike, man. I'm out.